Pinky's out on Comic Book Canon! That's right, Pinky's out. I said it on Comic Book Canon. That refers to one of our special guests, our special guest co-host today, Comic Man Andy, who you will meet in a bit. And he is a wonderful gentleman that knows so much about comic books, has an amazing channel, which you can subscribe to below. But today we are here for another episode of Comic Book Canon. It is a Friday night. The weeks go by so quick in a pandemic. What's it going to be like when we open up? Who knows? But that's something for us to ponder another day, because I'm going to bring in my good friend and co-host, Christopher, who is hydrating as we speak. Chris, how's it going, buddy? I think he's out.
Hey, what's up?
How are you?
So, not only do we have Comic Man Andy as a special guest of honor, we also have a guest, Buzz the Fly.
Oh, nice.
So, Buzz the Fly.
Yeah.
I was hesitant to bring him on today, but, he just was ruthless and said, I want to be on the show. So he's around here, buzzing around. So if you see me, getting kind of aggressive with him, if he's not behaving himself, that's what's going on.
Hashtag Buzz the Fly, CBC, Chris's new pet, friend of the channel, and hopefully friend to all of you. But here we go, guys. We're just about to get into some news, right? And I have to warn you, Chris and I, as you all know, are very critical of DC. And we feel like we are in every right to be so, because DC, I don't know. So, but this episode, on this episode, the news is extremely heavy with DC, right? So yeah, it's good, it's interesting, and it's everything in between. Am I right? Yeah. Actually, it's more good than bad. There's no bad. There's just interesting, right?
Interesting.
I think right now we are going to start the news with interesting, because it was announced earlier this week, Warner Media and Discover are merging, right? Warner Media, as you all know, is owned by AT&T. AT&T can't manage themselves, let alone a media company. They are spinning off Warner Media, which they're going to own a majority stake in, and Discover's coming in, and they're going to merge all of these assets together. That is right. It's a little bit confusing, but it's interesting and leaves a lot to question. That's right. Warner Media and Discover merger. AT&T will spin off Warner Media, which owns DC properties, to merge with Discovery. Warner Media, which owns properties, the idea here is both of these entities will be stronger together to create a powerhouse platform with a combined estimated content of 200,000 hours. That's right. I said 200,000 hours. That's 23 years of content. Now, for us, what does that mean for DC? DC has been under Warner Media for over 40 years and has seen corporate shifts before. But there was an interesting comment from Discovery CEO David Zaslav, who will be heading this kind of, new entity, whatever it's going to be named. His interesting quote was this: "We will build a new chapter together with the creative and talented Warner Media team and these incredible assets built on nearly 100-year legacy." That's right, assets built on a nearly 100-year legacy. I mean, the oldest assets they own are DC. Of the most wonderful storytelling in the world. That will be our singular mission, to focus on telling the most amazing stories and have a ton of fun doing it. This is about taking on all of the other streaming services with a combination of all of these assets. For as poorly as DC has been run with comics and films, these are valuable assets, and this new company will need this IP to compete with those involved. Chris, man, that is a lot to unpack. I want to hear your thoughts on this right
now. Well, let me tell you what it's not. This isn't an inclination that Warner Brothers and DC is going to be sold off to Disney. Because that's what I've been hearing all week long. Yeah. It's ridiculous. This is a competitive decision to compete with Disney. This is not that. So I want to get that out of the way. I look at this as like you said, interesting. It's a lot there. This can go any way. It could go any way. Ultimately, though, I do like it. I like it because of a lot of things that you and I talk about, Jeff. Okay. One thing is it allows new executives to come in and look at these properties and say, okay, where do we go from here?
Mm-hmm.
Because we know those that were in place under AT&T's Warner Brother and Warner Media weren't getting the job done. But I'm gonna circle back to this last year or so of the reshifting of DC with all the layoffs and let goes, and shredding the meat off or the fat off the bones, right? And everyone was like, DC doesn't know what they're doing, they're going under, and I'm sitting here saying, no, look, you have people that haven't been getting the job done for a very long time. This is the beginning of that restructuring. So you lay people off, you trim the fat, you get it down. While this is happening, you still have executives that don't know what they're doing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was a beginning point. All right. And now that they've trimmed that fat, now they're bringing new executives in to look at basically the foundation of what they have and seeing if they can help them re-water the soil for these seeds to grow and sprout anew, so to say. So I think this is a very, very positive thing. I really do hope that the Discovery team, those executives, can really come in and oversee DC. And that's the DC live action properties, HBO Max, and of course, DC Comics. But like you and I talk about, Jeff, it's got to be the right people. I mean, they might be hungry and fishing and go after Discovery and make that merge, and then you still got people that don't know what they're doing involved. The future will tell us. We shall see.
Yeah, I think the key thing to think about here is Discovery is a media company. They know how to run media. That's the good. The question mark is that they are heavily invested into reality programming, and it's a completely different than running a narrative and superheroes and sci-fi and all that stuff. I think this is a better situation for Discovery and the execs there overseeing content creation than AT&T. I just hope, as you basically said, that they put creators and talented creators in charge that are in love with these characters and let the creators create. That's all I'll say about it. That's it.
Yep. And again, DC, because it's been so bad, you know that saying, once you hit rock, there's nothing lower than rock bottom. The only way is up. So because it's been so bad with the trimming the fat and with this merger, DC is actually in a good place right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Does that make sense? They're in a good place because it's been so bad. And not to say that it's not rock bottom, because Jeff, if this falls through,
yeah, it's gonna be rock bottom.
Then it'll be rock
it'll
bottom.
Be bad. It'll be beyond recovery. Here's an interesting take. I kind of wish they would sell to Disney. We might actually get a good connected universe for DC films. Here's the thing with that, Caleb. You need the competition, right?
Yep.
You need the competition. You need these guys trying to one-up each other. And right now, we are lucky how talented Marvel is and everybody associated with Marvel. They don't have competition. They continue to one-up themselves. That's their competition. But I would not like to see these properties merge. Real quick before we move on to our next story I'm excited about, I want to say hello to some peeps. We got Sith Lordy in the house. Spine Ticks, link is below. Azorius Tiger was on the show last week. That was an absolute blast. And Sith Lordy made a cameo appearance on the show. He's made a full. That's his cameo. We got J2 Amir, 3Z. We got Candace, yes. We got X11 Bravo Comics. What up? We saw you in Journos in there. Comic Man Andy is in the chat. He'll be here live. He's going to be our guest co-host if he passes his interview. Dan De La Torre, what is happening? I heard you are in Palm Springs enjoying the nice weather there. Who else? Phil Ailing, hello. How are you? Travis Tubbs. All right, so many people. This is exciting. Nowhere Bound. Yo to you as well. All right, moving on though, Chris. This is something I'm very excited about. This is DC news that I'm very excited about, and you're going to kick it off here. What do you got?
Well, I just happen to have this comic book sitting here, and I wanted to show it off just because this Joker is very reminiscent of Mark Hamill's Batman animated Joker. Had to show that off. And the reason why I show it off is because the news, and this is amazing DC news, in my humble opinion, is that there is a new Batman animated series announced. Yes. This new series is going to feature Bruce Timm, J.J. Abrams, and Matt Reeves to all be involved in the executive production of this series. They broke the title as Batman the Caped Crusader, a brand new animated series. It's going to be coming to not only HBO Max, but also to Cartoon Network. So that's really cool that they're going to have it on both of those networks. Again, with the executive team, you got Bruce Timm from the Batman animated series fame coming back, partnering up with JJ, who's obviously one of the top dogs in the sci-fi game right now, and of course Matt Reeves, who's working with Batman with this the Batman film currently. Hopefully, that's going to lead into his own trilogy. What a team, right? This is what Warner Brothers executive Sam Register said about the new series. Quote, Batman, the animated series, was a masterpiece. Fact. Continuing on, that shaped the perception of the character for an entire generation of fans. It is in that spirit that we are bringing together three master storytellers in JJ, Matt, and Bruce, each with their own intuitive understanding and affection for the character to create a new series that will continue in the same groundbreaking legacy. Look at that promo image right there. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm taking down it's just, God, I can't wait, man. I absolutely can't wait. I think this is fantastic news. Again, yeah, again, Chris, Chris and I, we're very critical of DC at times, but I'm excited. I mean, I love the animated series. Who, as a comic fan, can say here, but it wasn't that great. It was fantastic. It was a noir kind of a overall vibe, just kind of dark and melancholy, and I just love the whole tone of that series. And you got freaking Bruce Timm working on this, but not only him, J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves. Come on. I mean, this is a recipe for success, and I'm in on day one. No doubt about that.
Absolutely. I think I'm more excited about this than anything DC in a very long time.
I haven't thought about it that much, but I'd have to agree with you. I'm very excited about that, but I am going to move on to our next story, which is an interesting piece of DC news. Again, that's right, because we're going to talk about Jason Momoa. He's a Hollywood hunk. He's got the acting chops. He's got the action chops, and he impressed he impressed at playing Aquaman. It was a completely different take than we ever saw before. Anybody thinking about Aquaman, but he kind of brought some badass, just some badass attitude to that character that was always kind of like polished and kind of a geek in a way. But that being said, we can also put writer on Jason Momoa's resume here, because that's right. He wrote the treatment for Aquaman 2. That's a surprise. But here's why. Here's why I love this. Because this is a guy that's showing passion for the character, and that's going to shine through in the storytelling and the acting and everything else involved. But Aquaman 1 was an unexpected success, grossing over $1 billion at the box office. Momoa, brought a fresh, rough, and rugged Aquaman to life that had seemed to be just the shining light for many fans amongst a studio that DC live action universe was in a state of disarray. Now WB seems to have made another bold move by letting Momoa himself write the story treatment for Aquaman 2. Momoa made the news public in a recent interview and had a lot of positive things to say about the opportunity. As he says, after we ended the first one, I went in with my writing partner. We dreamed up the second one, and we went in and pitched the idea. And the best thing I could give you is that I love it so much that I participated in the writing of it. And so we did the first treatment, and then James and our original writer, David, finished it off, and all of our hearts are in it. Instead of just like getting a script and doing like that, like you're 100% being encouraged by your director and co-writers. So that's exciting for me, and I'm excited to go over there. I leave in July when we start filming. Again, Chris, I just love seeing an actor being so in on this character. He loves playing it, and he wants to be a part of telling the story of this character. I love that.
I agree. 100% there. Now, can you get the job done? Hey, you look at this, though. You got to take this with a grain of salt, because he's not writing the movie. He's not. They're not giving the screenplay to him and saying,
I should have clarified that. My bad.
No, oh no. It's not that you didn't clarify that. I just, I want the viewers to understand what, working a treatment is next to writing a screenplay, right? Because they still have a writing team. But for that writing team to involve him like this is really awesome. And I think this is, have we heard outside, I would say probably outside of what Patty Jenkins has done with her crew working with Wonder Woman. I don't know if we really had this type of connectivity between, the role players or the actors, the writers, the directors, the producers, whatever, which we often, and I'm not saying specifically with treatments, I don't know if there's been any actor that's helped write a treatment, but we understand the relationship that takes place on the sets or within the films within Marvel Studios. So I think this goes to show that DC has something that worked for a first film, and the team is really working together to continue that success. That's what makes me happy. You're right. Everyone seems to have passion and seems to be respecting everyone else's artistry and input, and they're all sitting at the table, working on this together. And when you talk about the disarray that the DC's been in, like, that's the core, man. If you don't have that, I don't know how you can make a successful film, because you can have the best directors, you can have the best writers, but if there's, a screw loose in there, I mean, it can really make a huge, what's supposed to be a successful project fail. And this is very positive news. And I'm looking forward to it, because I did too. I really enjoyed Aquaman. I was very, I just questioned Jason Momoa is Aquaman. And I said this before, that first 10 minutes of that movie, when he goes on the submarine, and I was like, oh my God, this is so cheesy. This is going to be horrible. But once that happened and we got into the movie, I was like, it was almost like an Indiana Jones adventure. I really enjoyed it. So we'll see. We'll see.
Let me also clarify, it wasn't a perfect movie. It was an entertaining movie. In my opinion, there were some cringeworthy moments. By the way, Myth Lab Music, hey Cannon, hey Myth Lab Music. I do want to address something, and I don't want to feel like I'm putting somebody on blast here, but Miguel, actors should act and just let the writers alone. I don't agree with this, because all the time, you don't hear about this that often, but actors do pitch their ideas and the angles that they want to approach their characters. And if you have an actor that's believing in a script that they help participate and kind of be like, you know what, the character would be like this, this, or this, that helps them put them into character, which makes a better product. Because if they don't believe in that script, you got a major problem. You have a major problem. So that's where I disagree with you. I think it's a collaborative effort between writers, actors, producers, directors, everybody involved. It's not just the writers. They're like, here's a script. That's it. You're done. Because the directors have a say, the producers have a say, and the actors ultimately have a say as well. So that's where I will disagree with you. All right. Now here's the deal, guys. We just had a ton of DC news. We are going to move into some Marvel news. I'm going to hear some boo-hoo-hoo. I think Dan De La Torre is a little upset about that. But you know what? I don't care, because we saw something fun with Loki here, right? They are starting to push Loki June 9th. Cannot wait. It's going to be awesome. Here's why. I'll tell you why. They just released a poster last week, and look at this beautiful, beautiful poster. Now, Moonlit Comics, a.k.a. Michelle, she commented on my amazing Photoshop skills. I did it again this week because I put a circle around a character, and this is Miss Minutes right there. The red circle, the red arrows pointing to Miss Minutes. That is right. That character is called Miss Minutes. Here, Chris, even closer view right there. Beautiful looking, fun looking, Disney-esque character. And guys, we are going to see a little trailer that was just released on Miss Minutes. We're going to check it out and talk about her on the other side.
Welcome to the Time Variance Authority. I'm Miss Minutes, and it's my job to catch you up before you stand trial for your crimes. So settle in.
Now hang on just a minute.
And we'll get you in front of a judge in no time.
Who actually believes this crap? Sir, I'm gonna use your ticket.
No. Thanks for visiting the TVA. Don't hesitate to let us know how we're doing.
What do you want from me? You put our timeline in chaos. I want you to help us fix it. What could possibly go wrong?
Trusting Loki is not a good idea.
Do I get a weapon?
Gear up.
Don't those feel good?
Absolutely not.
Original series streaming Wednesday, June 9th, only on Disney+.
Who's in on this? Me. You know, I'm going to do something. This is sacrilege here, but I'm going to add Comic Man Andy. Who's in on this? Raise your hand. All right, good. All right, see you. We'll see you soon. Absolutely, 100%. I'm loving the tone. I'm loving everything that they're going to bring to the series. I think it's going to be another unique take. You had WandaVision, which was way out there. You know, Falcon the Winter Soldier, which I thought was excellent. It wasn't innovative or anything. It was, you know, your buddy flick, right? But this is going to have an interesting tone that's going to explore the multiverses and all that stuff. And also what was released as well was the true MCU's recap of Loki. So let's check that out as well.
My new series, Loki, is coming soon to Disney+. And to help get you ready, I'm going to catch you up in just 30 seconds. My dad, Odin, says my brother Thor can be king. I'm jealous. Plus, he's not my real dad, so I get my real dad to kill Odin, but then I save him. Thor's mad anyway, and we fight. Cut to Earth. I steal the Tesseract from S.H.I.E.L.D., help the Chitauri invade Earth, and the Avengers stop them, and I go to jail until Thor needs me to help defeat the Dark Elves. Next thing you know, I'm king, but everyone thinks I'm Odin. Our sister Hela shows up. Cue another Thor-Loki team up. We beat her. Then Thanos shows up. We don't beat him, and I die. Thanos kills half the universe. The Avengers go back in time to stop him, giving an earlier version of me a chance to grab the Tesseract. Oh, hang on! Okay, that's better. Thanos gets defeated, and the next thing you know, I've got a job offer from some group that calls itself the TVA. And that's it. Find out what happens next by streaming Loki exclusively on Disney+.
I mean, if that doesn't get you pumped, I don't know what will. As Tom says here, these fun episodes reminding me of fun comic issues. It's a great energy they got going on. Couldn't agree more. Super psyched for Loki. Chris, anything you want to add to that?
I can't. This is the one that I've been waiting for. That's all I gotta say. This is it. We're not less than 3 weeks away, too, right?
June 9th is, yeah, I think you were right. You did math. Really? You did math real good. I did grammar more gooder. But moving on anyways, that's some exciting Marvel news. I can't wait. I guarantee you, if we were to poll everybody in here right now, 100% would say, I'm in. Tell us if you're not, though, in the comments section. But moving on, we have one more news story before we get to our interview with our potential guest co-host. Remember, he's got to pass the interview. And this last news piece here is DC related. DC heavy news week. What? Chris has it. So Chris, you're going to take this one away. Go for it.
All right, here we go. Some more DC stuff. Fingers crossed. Paul Dano has a mask. That's right. We got some new promo art for the Batman. And for those that don't know, Paul Dano is playing Riddler, who looks to be the main villain in Matt Reeves' The Batman flick. And look at this. Look at this. In this image, which is said to be a part of a promotional calendar, not yet officially confirmed by WB, we get an up-close look at the Riddler donning a metal mask, proving that somebody has finally done Dr. Doom right in a live-action film, and it wasn't Marvel.
Thank
you. I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that.
Here. I got you.
Joking. Obviously, I'm joking. All right. Now, and in actuality, many fans took to Twitter, stating how the Riddler's new look is very reminiscent of the real-life Zodiac killer, a serial killer that was responsible for a string of murders in the San Francisco Bay Area back in the 1970s, but was never caught. Very interesting. That's my stomping grounds, man. I wasn't alive back then, but I watched the movie. Anyways, very, very interesting look. I don't know. What do you think, Jeff?
I don't know what to think. I love Matt Reeves. I think he's a fantastic director, and I'm excited to see his take on this. I don't care. Like at first, when they announced the Joker, help me out.
Joaquin?
Huh?
Joaquin Phoenix?
Nope. Help me out.
Heath Ledger?
Yes, when they announced Heath Ledger, I was like, no, come on.
Oh, right.
You saw his look, you're like, But I learned my lessons there because he was excellent. I learned my lesson. So I'm looking at this image here. I'll bring it up one more time, and I'm like, okay, let's see what this is. Let's see what this is. I'm ready. I'm ready for another great Batman film. And by this image alone here, I mean, come on.
Nice.
He looks badass, and I'm psyched for that. I am 100% psyched for that. And I mean, that goes to show you that Chris and I are DC fans as well, and we want to see these properties succeed. So I'm super psyched about that. Most excited about that Batman, the animated, that new animated series. That's gonna be a blast. But Chris, I have to say that ends our news segment for this week. That was a lot of DC news. I'll say it again. I'm really surprised. I'm very happy because there's a lot of fun stuff in there, and we'll have to see what happens with the Warner Media and Discovery.
Yeah. Yep. But we are so stoked about Robert Pattinson's Batman that I think there's a new term coined.
You know what? I'm going to take credit for this, even though somebody else had to have thought of it. Let's go Batterson, guys. Let's call him Batterson.
The Batterson. I love it. I love it.
That's it. News is over. No more talk of any of those stories because we are going to move on and focus on a wonderful individual, a wonderful part of this comic book community. His name is Comic Man Andy, and as you guys know, we have special guest co-hosts each and every week here. Actually, it's the first 3 weeks of the month, special guest co-hosts. Then it's just special time with Chris and I for the fourth show of the month. But I got to say, we have an alumnus in here, and he's talking smack already.
Uh-oh.
Justin from No Good Comics. Andy will not pass the interview. Whose idea was it to have him on here? He sounds angry, even though it was Justin's idea. But he's calling him out because that's right. We're gonna have Andy come on in a few seconds here, but he's got to pass this interview. And if he doesn't make the cut, we are gonna cut him and move on without him. So it's a tough interview. I hope y'all give him support when he comes on. But at the end of the day, he's got to answer our questions the way we see fit because it's our show, guys. It is
free passes. No free passes.
But if you're not familiar with Comic Man Andy, here's a wonderful picture of him. That is right. He's an amazing member of the comic book community on YouTube. You could check Comic Man Andy's Mail Call Mondays, new comic book day reviews, and Bagging and Boards. That's a fun one. But other than Andy's collection and comic book knowledge, he's also got the coolest beard in the community. So Pinky's out, that's his expression. He's going to be here in a second to explain where that came from. I think we all know what it means. Pinky's out, and welcome Comic Man Andy. Andy, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
Guys.
Pinky's out.
It was a killer practice session. When do we go live?
Oh, I forgot to tell you, we're live right now.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us. As we said, we kind of hyped this up. This is your interview portion right here, and you got to do well. You have to do well. But before we get into that, we're going to remind the audience here, please sub Andy up. I'm telling you, you'll want to sub him up. If you like watching us, if you like watching No Good Comics, if you like watching Spine Takes, you're going to like watching Andy. He knows his shit, and he has fun doing it. So follow him there. He's also got an Instagram. It's super easy. Comic Man Andy. Follow him on Instagram as well. All right, we're just going to get right into this right now. Okay?
I'm so excited. I'm really thankful for you guys inviting me on tonight. I kid you not. I've had a really, really rough week. It's been really rough. I quit my job. It's been really tough. I gave it up. It was time. I couldn't do it. I was having such a rough time. So this is really uplifting that you guys are having me on tonight, and I really appreciate that. I used to test treadmills for a living, but just the other day, I couldn't see myself going anywhere.
Give it up, everybody. Comic Man Andy. And with that, have a good night. I'm just kidding. You are not cut yet. Now, that was great. That was really good, actually. You sold that. You absolutely sold that. Moving on here. We're going to talk a little bit about your channel before we really get to know you. You are self-described as a comic junkie extraordinaire. Please elaborate on that.
I don't know what it is. You get me into a store and I'm digging through every bin. I'm digging through every spot on the wall. I'm like, hey, Mr. Comic Shop owner, what's behind that other one? You got anything hidden in the back? What's the key secrets here for some of those golden age stuff that I know you're hiding in the back, but you're not quite giving up the goods. You know what I mean? I tell you, I'm kind of a junkie. I'm like, affordable. Like, there's degrees. Like, I'm not going out and buying massive golden age collections, although I'd love to, but still, you get me into any store, and it comes to whether it's a cover price book, or whether it's affordable slab, or it's something I'm going for the PC, or it's books that I'm finding for friends or other members in the community here. I'm all about that. I'm digging through everything.
Okay. All right. That's good. By the way, Bottom Tier Collector gave you some props. Been chatting with this guy in chat. No idea he was the guest. Already a fan. So there you go. Bottom Tier Collector, make sure you follow him. Link is below. And Comic Man Andy at Instagram is his handle. I'm going to bring that up in a hot second as soon as I can find it. We got so much stuff we're going to be talking about and showing today. So that is a good answer. I do approve of that answer in terms of your junkiness. But moving on. This is a serious question, though, honestly. And I know we all have ebbs and flows. And you told a really interesting story of how you got back into comics again. And, we can save that for another time. But what is your favorite thing about this hobby?
Oh, man, it's really hard to pin down one favorite thing. Sometimes, more often than not, it's the cliffhangers in books when I'm reading. And I'm really falling in love in a story. And I get to that page 24, or page 25, and I'm like, wait, that's it? There's only one more page? And then I get kind of angry. And then I'm like, that's how they do it.
Yeah.
They got me. They got me hooked. That hook, line, and sinker aspect, that issue-to-issue reading and the cliffhangers that come with the issue and issue is really probably my favorite thing. We eat with our eyes, right? The covers are amazing, but it's that issue-to-issue collectability and readability of books that really gets me hooked. Yeah,
I mean, from that... When I first realized that kind of cliffhanger thing when I was, really young reading it, I was pissed, man. Like, you're fucking kidding me? You have to wait a month for another book to come out? Why can't I know this shit now? But it really, God, I mean, these days it's hard, especially the three of us have kids, and it's really hard to sit down and read one book immediately when it comes out, and that's how I used to roll. Now it's a bunch of books, so I kind of lose that cliffhanger, but it's still there. The nostalgia of that is still there, and I appreciate that as well. So, again, another good answer, Chris. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
All right. Before we get into the next question, I want to pat Chris and myself on the back here. Azores Tiger, good friend Azores Tiger, was on the show last week. Had a blast with him. Check out the shirt game on Chris and Jeff. You got that right, man. DJ Shadow, y'all need to check out his music if you don't know it. And Chris is...
Dead Prez, baby.
There you go.
Dead Presidents.
So, respect.
Thanks,
Azores Tiger. We love you. All right. This question. Now it's going to start getting hard. We're throwing you softballs before. Your beard is long. How long did it take to grow, and what does it take to maintain that?
Oh, man. This is probably at about 1.5 years now, and it's literally, I steal my wife's conditioner. I kid you not. I kid you not. I steal my wife's conditioner. I'm constantly combing it, because if not, this thing goes all curly. And the real beard struggle for everybody out there that knows is when you wake up in the morning, this thing is like, and you're like, goo. What's going on here?
Well, yeah. And by the way, he was backstage. He has a blue comb there. Probably there you go. There you go. He's got that down pat. There are no knots in there. Now I'm putting you on the spot with this question. And you're gonna have a tough time. I think. This is a related note. Besides you, by the way, I do think you have the best beard in the community, no doubt. But besides you, who has one of the best beards in the community?
Oh man, that's tough. Bearded Comic Bro has a great beard.
He does.
Drew Manchu has been killing it. Drew Manchu from the Comic Corps has been killing it with his beard. There are a lot of great beards out there. There really are.
I'm jealous, man. I can't get mine past this stubble here. No matter what I do, I'm like,
Chris hasn't passed puberty.
Right?
Yeah, these parts are not
shaved in a week
yet.
I haven't shaved in a week, man. I'm like, dude, come on now.
I guess to be fair, that is subjective because there are different types of beards. You definitely have a style that's more reminiscent of ZZ Top. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's fair to say, because I mean, comic book collections, like their owners, they're all unique, right? So are our beards, because I have not seen the same beard on any other guy. They're all different. Sure, you can cut them. Sure, you can style them. Sure, you can put all sorts of glitter and hanging balls from them and everything like that. But seriously, everybody's beard looks just different enough to be individual. It's pretty crazy.
You're killing me, Squat. I have to say I'm surprised. I threw some heat at you, and you just, honestly, you swatted it away. But here is the ultimate test, because you come from Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Chris is going to lay it down. Chris, throw the gauntlet. Here we go.
All right, man. We do this thing where you gotta kind of really rep from where you're from, and we're gonna get into a segment of questions. How Michigan are you? So, are you ready for it?
Oh no, yeah.
This could be the end.
You might have some fellow.
But we may just drop you from the show. But before we do, make sure to sub Comic Man Andy below, as well as hit up his Instagram. Please follow him. You will not be disappointed. All right, Chris, here we go. How Michigan are you?
Yep. Now, the thing with these questions, though, is you might piss off half of your fellow Michiganites. Is that the proper term, Michiganites?
Michiganders.
Michiganders? All right.
Oh, by the way, Nerds Geeks from Michigan, so he can verify.
There we go.
Here we go.
All right. Okay, first question. Now, we know that, first off, Michigan and in Detroit, a lot of rich history. From Detroit and from Michigan as a whole, within the music, can he phone a friend? A lot of rich history coming out of Detroit and the greater area within music. So I got to ask you, punk rock or techno?
Oh, punk rock, baby. Punk rock all day long. All day long. 1981 repping right here.
Passionate,
with punk rock.
It's the passion. Right. It's not the answer. It's the passion. That's what's important.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so we're going to stick with music here. We know the birth of Motown. I got to hit you with Stevie Wonder or Marvin Gaye.
Marvin, man. I gotta stick to Marvin. I do.
There's no wrong answer there.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's just how people might crucify you one way or the other, right? All right, next up. Keeping it music. Eminem or Royce da 5'9"?
Eminem. Literally. Like, I drive through Detroit. Like, hey, there's 8 Mile. Eminem. Put it on the radio right now. Let's go.
So you know that Royce is M's like right-hand man, right?
Yeah.
So Royce has actually said multiple times that M is a better rapper than him. Right? But how many rappers are going to call out their homie? Are going to, like, man, but I'm going to say something. Right now. Literally, I think your answer, but Royce the 5'9", he is extremely underrated.
I definitely do not disagree with you there. But when you Google search Detroit celebrities, the first thing that comes up is Eminem.
Yeah. He's a legend. He's a legend, man. All right. Moving on. Moving away from the music. This is going to be a fun one that we might get some fist fights going on in the chat here.
It better be hockey.
Ford or Chevy?
GM all day. GM all day long. My entire family, all of my in-laws have worked for GM for 30 years. 30 years. You want to talk about family discount? I get the family discount. Our entire garage is GM, everything. Absolutely.
Oh, man. There'd be beef there. I've had nothing but Fords in my family. I got 2 Fords in my driveway right now.
They're still there, aren't they? They don't drive, do they?
I knew that was coming. Actually, you know what? I had a Ford F-150 Lariat 89 for a long time. But 5 years ago, I purchased a 1989 Ford Ranger off the original owner for $1,800. I've given an oil change, and I put new tires on it, and I got new brake pads over the 5 years that I've had it, and it's been running solid. So,
ladies and gentlemen, he is not lying. Those original Ford OG Rangers do not give up. I will give Ford that. Those Rangers, you need to roll them 30 times, and then you need to hit an embankment, and then fall down a cliff, and then roll down a dam into a river, and then when the river drops it off of a cliff and it's done, then the Ranger might give up.
There we go. I dig it. Just for the record, though, I'm not a GM or Chevy hater at all. I love them all. I like variety. All right, let's move on. Let's get into some sports. All right, this might be a tough one, depending what you like about the game of basketball. Isaiah Thomas or Dennis Rodman?
Oh, Thomas. I got to stick with my Detroit homies, the Michigan, Isaiah Thomas, growing up watching him. I mean, Dennis Rodman is great and was fun to watch for all the years, but literally it's like you got to root for your home crew. You got to root for your home team when you're growing up.
Yeah, well, yeah, because Rodman did move on to the Bulls.
Yeah, and eventually that little bit of trade-off there kind of like,
That's a hard thing. I get it, so that's fair.
I hear you.
This one's
good.
Good
Reasoning. Good
Thomas
reasoning.
Came back and became a coach, did he not, with the Pistons?
I don't know. The Knicks.
I'm sorry.
Coached the Knicks, yeah. Didn't go too well.
Yeah. All right, so next one. Now, Jeff was saying this is obvious. Jeff was saying this one's an obvious answer, but I'm going to beg to differ because you got two. I'm gonna call them both. I'm gonna call one of them future Hall of Famer. Two solid top tier players that retired before their time. Barry Sanders or Calvin Johnson?
Barry Sanders. Barry godforsaken Sanders till the end of the earth. Barry Sanders. I thought it was an obvious answer. I have to say.
Let me play devil's advocate a little bit. I'm growing up in the Bay Area. I grew up watching Jerry Rice, GOAT. I'm a huge Rice fan. I believe the one person that could have even came close to touching Jerry Rice's records was Calvin Johnson.
Ooh, interesting. And you know what the funny thing is my answer was Barry Sanders. I grew up collecting Jerry Rice cards, all the rookie cards, all the cards. I was a 49ers fan all through grade school and collected the 49ers cards and was a huge Jerry Rice collector. But Barry Sanders was really what I loved to watch, right?
How could you not? Best running back in our generation. He did not have an offensive line. This is not a sports show. We're going to get into too much here. I'm so glad you said that with passion. And it was like, there was no hesitation in your voice. You're doing very well in this interview. But this one right here, this is the last one.
This is gonna make or break you right here. This is gonna be it. It's gonna be it. All right. So for those that don't know, Michigan is two different land masses. So there might be some battle in terms of territory.
By the way, we did research. We did research for this interview. You're special.
We know that there's large bodies of water surrounding Michigan. So I got to ask you, Lake Superior or Lake Michigan?
Lake Michigan. Because anything close to Lake Superior is technically Wisconsin territory. Those Green Bay Packers invaded the UP, and when you go up there and you travel, it's Green Bay Packers everywhere. Like literally, you go all those sports clubs and the sports bars. We go on a family camping trip up to the state parks up in the UP. It's Packers. I kid you not, man. It's all taken over up there, man. It's game over.
Said like a true Michigander.
Honestly, man, I didn't not know how this interview was going to go because we just met tonight. I feel like we're all buddies from long ago. You did a great job. I'm not even going to hesitate. Well, actually, no, Chris. To be fair, are you good with Andy moving on as our guest co-host tonight?
Even though I may have answered a couple of questions slightly different, he really convinced me with his conviction. So I think we'll let him pass.
The passion came through, and there was no wrong answers. I freaking loved it. I'll tell you what, we definitely lost some viewers, though, talking about sports, and I don't regret it one bit. Not one bit. Barry Sanders I'm an Eagles fan, but Barry Sanders is the best running back I have ever seen. But moving on, because this is what everybody's all been waiting for. Congratulations, Comic Man Andy. You are a guest co-host on Comic Book Canon. You made it, and you are going to get to have fun throughout the rest of the show. That is your reward. Ooh. But here we go, guys. This is what everybody's just waiting. Yeah, Pinky's out. But this is what everybody's waiting for right here. And Chris, we do this segment every week, and it's getting more and more popular. And everybody continues to submit tons of books, and we can only take one.
I can help with this segue.
What's that?
I can help with this segue tremendously now that I've passed. I've golden flags and green lights and green colors. I've passed. I can help with this segue, right?
You're a collaborator now. Yeah, this is your guest co. This is as much show yours as it is ours. Go for whatever you want to interject here.
One question to bring this back into comic books, man. Where does Iron Man plant his jalapeno?
In Michigan.
In Pepper Potts.
Oh Jesus, man! God. That's great. That was great. You got me though. I was like, shit. I was gonna take control of this, and no, you just took it away from me.
I'm done. I'm out.
Before you know it, yeah.
Back to comic books.
Back to comic books. It is. I'm not even gonna segue here. It is now time. Chris, tell us what it's time for.
Fresh from Pepper Spots.
fresh from Pepper Potts, aka fresh from the comic shop, fly from the pressing salon, our good old Fresh Prince reference. We do that every week. You guys send in your fresh gets each and every week. They could be 2 days old, they could be 2 decades old, but as long as you got them this week, whether it be in your local comic shop, whether it be a AOK, whether it be a mail call, what have you, as long as you got them fresh from this week, share them with us because we're going to show them on this show. I'm the only one keeping a straight face here. That is right. I'm going to keep the show going while these two just kind of giggle off. But what you guys do is, again, you just send them to us. And Chris, are you going to be able to explain how they do that?
All right. Whether it's whether you're fresh from Pepper's Pots or you're fresh from the comic shop, whatever it may be, what we need you to do is remember, get your technology helmet on. You grab your smartphone because you can't do it with your flip phone. You're going to say, son, how do I connect the flip phone to the computer to get the picture onto the Instagram? So you got to use your smartphone. You take a picture of your comic book that you just picked up, right? You upload it to your Instagram, and then you put, bring me up. Oh,
I got you. I'm sorry. My bad.
Boom. Hit that little hashtag FFTCS. And also,
hold on.
Also, boom.
No, that's coming, man, Andy.
Boom.
We are all in disarray here. Andy's just crushing this show.
Comic
He's
book
a wrecking
canon.
ball.
Hashtag us, FFTCS. Tag us with Comic Book Canon in your Instagram post, and we will see your fresh get of the week, and we will feature it on our Fresh from the Comic. I almost said it again.
Right, yeah.
Fresh from the Comic Shop segment.
We're going to move on. We're doing it, guys. We are doing it. We're going to start this segment for real. I know you guys are all excited because you guys sent so many great books this week. We are going to start with our guest. We are going to start with Comic Man Andy. What do you got? What is your first fresh get of the week? Your first one. Just show us your first one.
I kid you not. This was the first major family adventure going out and a first major hunt to multiple shops. First get of today, literally right hot off the shelf. Wind number 3, 9.8. The Peach Momoko 1 in 25. I found this for not only below eBay prices, but when you save all the taxes, the fees, and the shipping and bring it right to your own comic cave, bam. It's a 9.8.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. That's the first thing you got today?
Yep, that's the first thing.
That is outstanding. That is a strong start to Fresh from the Comic Shop right there. There's a lot of buzz around that book too. That's a Tinian, the third. What is it? The third or the fourth? James Tinian, the fourth book. There's a lot of buzz going on there. That is a great pickup right there. But we're gonna get into some more great pickups. That's your guys' great pickups. That's right. We got Artist Proof Comics, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 113. Another sweet mystery box hit. Not sure what mystery box that was, but we are very happy for you. That's a great looking cover as well. Our good friend here, guys, our good friend Azores Tiger never disappoints, and he does it again. Here's Tales to Astonish number 63, Giant Man and the Incredible Hulk. First full appearance and origin of the leader. First full appearance of the humanoid. Some Stan Lee and Jack Kirby goodness. That book is a get, man. That is an absolute get. Will we see the leader again in the MCU? We can only hope. That's what we can. Only hope. I love this cover, guys. Us growing up in the 80s, you should all agree with that. Basement Brothers Collectibles. I had to put a filter on this one. Ant-Man plus Miami Vice. Iconic cover art. Absolutely. I really, really like that. And our last one for this first segment of you guys showing us your books. This is C-List E-Man. That's Wonder Girl right there, guys. Joelle Jones, she crushes it. She
absolutely.
Crushes it. So good. Anyways, all right. But, Chris, you got some fresh gets yourself. What's your first fresh get of the week?
All right. It was a tough one for me to pick a few of them, but this one was a no-brainer. I got this in the mail just yesterday, opened it up, and took a look and said, yeah, I'm happy I went and got this one. I've been after this book for a while, never pulled the trigger. It started to get a little hot because we got an announcement of the Marvels film, Captain Marvel 2 film, and just anything Marvel started to get a little hot. So I said, okay, let me actually finally see if I get a book before this thing really goes up. And that's Miss Marvel, number 1. So technically the first appearance of Carol Danvers as Miss Marvel. Really nice looking copy. It's got a little bit of rounding of the edges and a little bit of spine wear, but no color breaks at all. I am going to give it a press. That's why it's outside of the bag. And I like to show you guys what the book looks like out of the bag so you can see how
nice looking, man.
Yep.
Absolutely. And guys, this is one to get right now because it's kind of cooled off with any sort of, actually no sort of Captain Marvel news other than the Marvel's announcement. So Chris, that's a great book to have. No doubt about that. All right. Some more great books from all you guys. We got Comic Noob with a whole bunch of books, including the hold on. It is the Detective.
Bad idea.
Safe. Yeah, another bad idea book. I don't know what the other 3 are, but
that's a Greg Horn autograph.
Oh yeah. Oh, up top right. I see. Okay. Yeah. Those are some great books. Comic Noob. Thank you for sending them in. Comic Ozzy. This is what he says.
Yes.
That's G.I. Joe Transformers #1. G.I. Joe Transformers #1. Transformers Tuesday. Obviously, he posted this on Tuesday. Both solo titles are heating up. Why not this one next? Yo Joe Rollout. Spec credit for him goes to Newbie Comics. He's a friend of the show. We enjoy Newbie Comics. He's stopped by. But that's an interesting get. I have to agree with Comic Ozzy on that this is one that will probably heat up next. It was the first time that they crossed over there. I'm enjoying these covers here, man. And this run has got it's just an amazing. I think actually, Andy, I think you talked about this recently, but we got Daredevil number 30 from Cover Junkie Comics. Got issue number 30 this week for the cover. Went back today and grabbed a couple back issues for the story. The Zardaski to Shadow combo is fire. So glad I took on this hobby. Best entertainment for your dollars for sure. Can't agree more. I mean, I've read early issues of this run and I love it, and I haven't had time to actually just go back and dive into it. Andy, your thoughts on that? I'm pretty sure you brought that up on one of your shows.
What a way to take a character like Elektra and elevate her and make her more mysterious, more hot, more fiery.
Yeah.
They're killing it. Not just killing it with the story, but they're killing it with the art. And Daredevil is probably the most underrated ongoing series from the big 2 right now, in my opinion.
Agreed. I mean, they had the attention with Daredevil 25 when Elektra became Daredevil. Spoiler, I know, but that's 6 months ago. But yeah, it really. I mean, Zdarsky's a great writer, and he's got he's got a wide variety, in his belt that he kind of grabs from. So I'm all in on that. We got Coveted Comics here. Spider-Man number 12, Sitting in a Tree Part 1, another modern iconic cover by the awesome Sarah Pichelli and spectacular colors by Jason Keith. I believe the image will manifest on the big screen. Possibly in Spider-Verse number 2. What do y'all think? I think you're right. I think there's no doubt that that's going to happen. And I, for one, am excited. I love both characters, and I am all for it. That's a great cover. Coveted Comics, thank you for sending it in. All right. I'm gonna show you guys my first get. I haven't had much time to go to the shops myself, so I'm just at this point I'm doing pull lists. I haven't been able to go dig in. Like you had a great kind of search this day today, Andy. This Friday, it sounded like a wonderful Friday. But for myself, I'm just pulling my pull list and walking back home. That's all I got. But here is what I got for my first pick, and that is Wonder Girl number 1. I haven't read it yet, but I did like that. One of the only future states I liked was Wonder Woman, and Joelle Jones is back writing and doing the art on this book. I mean, the cover is just amazing. Yara Flor, super excited to see where this character goes because I think she's definitely a fresh character in DC, and they need fresh, they need good, and I really believe in what I read previously in those 2 issues, and I'm excited to see where they go with that.
I can't wait to get mine from my comic shop. I'm always late.
We'll have a reading party. You and I will have a reading party. How about that? Online reading parties. It'd be so much fun. It'd be adorable. But before we get going with more of your fresh gets, we are going to, again, explain how this works. Okay? I'm going to do it this time. It's this simple, guys. You send us your fresh gets. We show it on the show. It's that simple. We can't do 10 issues that you send in, but we will definitely pick one. And it's as easy as this. You hit, you go to your Instagram, you post the picture, hashtag FFTCS, and also please tag us at Comic Book Canon. And again, we will get them on the show. It's a lot of work, but we love doing it, and that's all I have to say about that. Just like Forrest Gump. Moving on, though, we got our good friend here, guys, and I love what he brings. Dan De La Torre with here's this week's FFTCS Thor 384, first appearance of Dargo Couture, someone who was worthy and lifts the hammer of Thor. 9.8 white pages, guys. I remember picking this up off of the spinner rack myself. I love the Ron Friends artwork. I love this run. And, it's not a bad spec yet because we may see, different. We're definitely going to see Jane Foster Thor on screen. Will we see other versions of Thor? Who knows? But again, this is one from my childhood. We got also DC. You guys, any comments on that one? I feel like I'm just steamrolling you guys.
I agree. I love those late 80s Thors.
You agree that I'm steamrolling? I thought we were better partners. Moving on, we got DC the Mechanic with this Silk number 3, 1/25. Loving the art and reading the series with my son so much. I had to get one of these variants. Beautiful 1/25. Lupacino variant. Keep them coming. We also have Disney Family Collectibles. They've been sending in each and every week. I really enjoyed this one, though. I really like. Disney Comics and Stories number 13. Awesome virgin cover with the one and only Mickey Mouse. Glad to be putting this in the collection. I'm not sure what that certificate is down there, but it is pretty
Scorpion
cool.
Comics.
That's what?
Scorpion Comics certificate.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't spend time looking at it. I did not do my research on that one. But I am loving the cover. I am loving the get. And I want to thank Disney Family Collectibles for sending them in. Flap Slap Jr. Love the name, guys. This is a shout out to you, Chris. X-Men number 126. Looking forward to see how Marvel Studios brings the X-Men into the MCU.
Yes.
Saw the CGC and had to get it as I love the cover. Also, thanks to Chris for his latest YouTube video on what X-Men comics to invest in next. Chris,
pull that back up quick. Look at that far upper left corner. That's a Pence variant.
Oh wow, that's a good. Oh,
yep.
Wow, that's a good call.
Dope, super dope.
Oh man, we were impressing Andy on his first fresh from the comic shop, and I'm glad you guys brought out the big guns here for this. Good find, Flap Slap Jr. He may not even know that, Andy. So that's a good call out right there. So Flap Slap Jr., let us know if you did know that or not. All right, moving on. Andy, it is your turn here. What is your second fresh get of the week?
You all know when you go out hunting and you go out comic book hunting and you're digging, you do the old 1-2 bundaroo, right? You bundle things up and you're like,
do the bundaroo.
The 1-2 bundaroo, right? You're stacking things up and like, hey, buddy, if I buy all this at once. So in that old bundaroo today was definitely a Something's Killing the Children 12 Virgin variant 9/6 that I had to add because this was basically after the old bundaroo goes. This is less. I got this for less than the cost of actually grading the book and picking it up.
Wow.
So yeah, why not? And I'm a big fan of Something's Killing the Children. I have a copy of this in the short box, ready to go to CGC. I kind of don't have to anymore because right here is that 9/6, and I dig it.
Beautiful. That is you're crushing us in the fresh gets. I have to say that is a beautiful get right there. By the way, we did talk Newbie Comics. Newbie Comics, we brought up your name. Not sure if you're watching, but we gave you props. So thanks for joining us today. Andy, that's a great get. You are impressing people in the especially with your the catch on the X-Men 126. Moving on though, we have some more great gets. This is from, guys, I'm ignorant to what this book is, but I want to bring this up right now. From Green Lantern Comic Collector number 1. He says Story 7, Green Lanterns in Fear 101. I'm not familiar with this book, but I love the cover. I'm really enjoying that cover. That's a nice fresh get right there. We got Gus 420 and X, aka Comic Toby, with Wonder Woman number 3. This Hulk number 393, just an amazing Dale Keown cover. And X Factor 24. Is this the first appearance of Archangel? I can't remember.
I believe you're right.
Don't ask Key Collector.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
No, I'm not throwing shade on them. I'm just saying this is another one that's just controversial. It's not Key Collector's fault or anyone's, I'm not pointing fingers, but it's just, this is another one of those controversial first full cameo, et cetera, et cetera.
All right. You know what? We're going to move on from that conversation because we got a good friend of the show, Hood Rat Comics, a.k.a. Ian. Look at this. I think that's the Geiger third print right there. Nightwing number 80. Nightwing is a hot series, guys. We have, the Bitterroot Purple Rain cover. I mean, come on. That thing is sweet. We got Ironheart number 3. Guys, you should be picking up your Ironhearts. I guarantee you Newbie Comics will be telling you the same thing. And we have Invincible Iron Man. I do believe that's a Riri-related one. Old Holland, I am not familiar with. I can't really speak of. I do think that's an Incredible Hulk there. The orange cover. I'm not quite sure. But these are great gets, Ian. Good stuff, man. We have Into Oblivion with this Black Radiant number 3. Radiant Black number 3. Into Oblivion sent a bunch of covers in. This I thought this cover is fantastic. I have the first issue here. I have not read it yet. I am way behind where I should be. But I've heard mixed things. I think, Chris, you were not into the series, but I really do like that cover. I have to say, I do like that cover. Then we got Jamagu with King in Black collection. King in Black 1 and 5 unknown color splash variants. That is a nice complete set there. Props to you, Jamagu. We really appreciate you sending those in. And here we go. We got Lowbrow Collectibles with the America Chavez issue 1. Finally getting around to reading this. This is a great series. Story and art is exactly what I like. I mean, it's starting to pick up steam now that we have her sister coming onto the scene here. I could think with issue number 3. So those are some good pickups, and she's definitely coming to the MCU. She has been cast, so that's some exciting stuff. Chris, your second fresh get of the week. What do you got?
All right. I'll go with this one. I just actually unboxed this on my live show, so some of you have seen it. But I would like to show it off again. This is another one that I just recently talked about in a video, a top 10 video that I just put out this last week. I feel, and again, this is my personal opinion, that there is a good chance that we can see these characters in the MCU. I think that Marvel Studios and Feige and team could do a really good job with these characters, similar to what they did with Guardians of the Galaxy. This is the Uncanny X-Men 207, first full appearance of the Starjammers and Gladiator.
That would be fun.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine? I mean, look, and I said this. I don't think we know what Kevin Feige said about the X-Men. He said, we're going to do something different. We're not going to just carbon copy the team of what we saw with Fox over the last 20 years. So what does that mean? It means that we're most likely going to see some fresh faces that we haven't seen yet within the X-Men franchise. I also don't believe that they're going to just introduce them into the MCU as a team. I think we're going to get drops here and there. Like we could see Psylocke be introduced like with the Mandarin over here somewhere with the 10 rings. Then we could see Rogue and Mystique introduced with Captain Marvel and have a Rogue origin story over here sometime down the line, something like that. And we know that the MCU was growing more galactic. We can introduce the Starjammers without even having to really introduce the X-Men yet. And I think that this is a good book to look at if you can get for a good value. These early all news are already starting to increase in value just because there's been so much talk and so many eyes in the demand for these early new X-Men team books that even if they're not keys of any sort, they're really starting to increase in value. The demand is going up because we know that the X-Men are coming. So this is a fun one. What's really interesting, if you want to bring me back up real quick here, I didn't see this in the pictures, but do you guys see that?
Yeah.
There is writing indentation. Other than that, it's a really nice looking book, and I'm kind of pissed that I didn't notice that. I'm trying to see what it says. I can almost read it. But what's going to be cool about this is I'm actually going to do it before and after, because I'm going to get on the tack iron. I'm going to get the steel bearing ball and do some pressing magic to see if I can get that out.
You got to bring that back on the show when you do after your pressing work here. I got to say something too. Justin from No Good Comics, he agrees. He thinks that's an amazing read, and I do believe he's doing some sort of X-Men review. I can't remember what his show is called, but he does an X-Men review, omnibus review. Justin, let us know. But by the way, No Good Comics, their link is in the bottom as well. But I mean, I'm not done saying it. You guys should be following Andy as well. He's our special guest co-host, Comic Man Andy, down below. The link is below. You should sub him up. And you also do need to follow him on the Instagrams. That is right. But speaking of Instagram, we got some. That's where we get our Fresh from the Comic Shop. It's from Instagram. Who do we got up next? Did we do? No. Okay. We got Mad Tatter Films. That's right. I like that name. Now here's the thing. I do like that Silver Surfer Black. Number one. I'm not sure what else is there, but Mad Tatter did not follow directions, guys. So this is one strike here, Mad Tatter. This is something to say. You guys sent us this in your stories, and I don't want to miss anybody's books, but if that goes away in 24 hours, and we don't want to miss any of your, so post them on your accounts, please. If you're comfortable doing so, we're going to miss these on stories. So please follow the directions. We don't want to have to reprimand people in front of 30 concurrent viewers. Embarrassing. Matt Stampa sent in look at these fresh gets right here. Those silks right there. Last Ronin director's cut. They got is it Rose Besh silk right there. I think I see a Scotty Young silk. You see Totally Awesome Hulk. Those books are getting hot. Nice pickups there, Matt Stampa. Good work, and thank you for following directions as well. Mike Dyson. $20.99. He's got those Midnight Sun books. Those are getting hot as well. Mike Dyson, he says, just destroyed a dollar bin setup today. Was pretty stoked with all the fun finds. We are happy that you got those as well. Yeah, those Midnight Suns. There's a lot of rumors, a lot of speculation going around that we're going to see some form of Midnight Suns with Ghost Rider, Blade, all those kind of like horror genre. I would say the darker kind of characters from Marvel. So that's exciting stuff as well. And then here we go. Muggins Comics, Flash. This is a great Silver Age book, by the way. Flash 140 went to a small comic show in Livonia today. Not sure where Livonia is. I should have looked that up. And saw a ton of schools. Michigan. Is it? Oh, for real?
Yep, Michigan. Detroit area. Detroit, baby.
There we go. Muggins. Maybe you know him or her. I've had my eye on First Heat Wave for a while and saw one within my budget. I've also really wanted this Tales of Suspense. I didn't show that book. That was one of his second. Anyways, but that book is the First Heat Wave is freaking awesome. Flash 140. All right, guys, I'm going to share my second fresh get of the week. Again, it's nothing spectacular, but I am enjoying this run, and I was surprised that I really do like this run. My comic shop manager suggested I start reading this. 78 was the issue he turned me on to, and I think a lot of people were surprised as well because these are going for well over cover on the secondary. This is Nightwing number 80, the first appearance of Heartless, new villain in the Nightwing, a.k.a. Batman family. Really cool cover, kind of trippy if you notice all of these little it almost looks 3D-ish if you put on 3D glasses. But again, I haven't read this yet, but I really enjoy the cover, and I'm really enjoying the run on this. I highly recommend that if you guys aren't reading it right now. I'm pretty sure Justin from No Good Comics is reading it as well. All right, moving on. What do we got, Chris? We got some more. Andy, we got some more. We got good friend Nerds Being Geeks. That's right. Punisher.
Ooh.
POV number 3. My favorite cover from this miniseries. Written by Jim Starlin with art by the master of Macabre, Bernie Wrightson. These two also collaborated together on a more popular miniseries, Batman the Cult. Check out, by the way, there's a link down below for Nerds Being Geeks. Check out all my comic book hauls on the Nerds Being Geeks YouTube channel. Link to channel is down below. He hit his goal of 50 subs before the end of May. So he's thanking everybody. And let's try to get to the big number 69 subscribers before May ends. Of course, you got to hit 69. That's another milestone. Moving on. Moving on, we got Nuke's Comics. Nuke, you are sending a ton of books in. And I like this book. I don't think it was my favorite of all of your submissions, but I was too far into the game, and I apologize for not going back. But I picked up Amazing, as he says, I picked up Amazing Spider-Man 61. Legacy 862 from Zeus Comics. It features Spidey's new Threats and Menaces suit designed by Dustin Weaver. The Gleason and Delgado team up on the cover is fire. Guys, here's the thing with this book. I despise this new Spider-Man suit, but seeing a little bit of it in action, I'm okay with it. We all know it's not going to last. They're going to go back to the classic blue and red, the red duds. So I'm good with it for now. Your guys' thoughts. I'm steamrolling you guys.
I agree.
Be a part of the show. Do it now.
I agree.
No, don't let me speak over
well.
you. Just guys talk. Speak your mind.
I agree as well. That Spider-Man suit isn't quite my Spider-Man suit, man.
That's the best way to put it, actually. I mean, I don't think I love the black suit Spider-Man when it first came out, and obviously it morphed into this amazing character Venom. But red and blue wins the day, in my opinion.
You know that he was originally black and red.
A little Steve Ditko action going on there, and then
so what had happened was because remember in comic books the way that you reflect light off of black is by using blue.
Right.
And that started happening, and they started noticing that because how they were drawing it with the black with those blues. They're like, hey, why don't we actually make it red and blue? And I don't know exactly when that changed. I don't know that off the top of my head, but yeah. So interesting enough, for those, Peter Parker's suit in Far From Home was black and red, and people were like, what are they doing? Why are they messing it up and changing it for the movie? Well, if you actually knew your Spidey history, that's the original suit.
Somebody's angry. By the way, Blue Comics, thank you for this. They are already back to the regular suit. I have not kept up with this series, honestly. I got that hot Gleason cover. I've kept up seeing that they're changing the suit, but I've tried to read a few of these. I'm not into it. I don't know about you guys. I think that's a consensus in terms of the people that I'm in communication with. So anyways, moving on to another fresh get. We got, guys, this cover, it's not iconic, but I feel like it should be. Jay Lee, y'all know who Jay Lee is, am I right? Yep. So we got Out of Print Collectibles. Wolverine #1, Jay Lee, 100 sketch variant cover. This is from November 2010. I have the original book here, but this is just glorious. I mean, God, that's just, Jay Lee's a master, and that cover, I don't know, man. Again, it doesn't fall under the iconic Wolverine covers, I feel like, but it is just outstanding. Absolutely. I agree. That cover is always that. This run didn't do much for me. It's him battling out of hell or whatever, but this cover has always stuck out to me.
Oh, man.
It's beautiful. Rascal Man Comics. Seeing his bubblegum covers are all the rage. I found a couple of great Jubilee ones by the mighty Clayton Crane. Goodness, Clayton Crane, guys. Kind of specking on this cover. Also, first appearance of Elsa Brock, female alternative universe version of Eddie Brock. He gives a shout out to J1 Future Specs that she can maybe wear the Gwenom suit in the future. I guess that's Elsa Brock. But that's a great cover. He's definitely doubling down. There's no pun at all. If there was, it wasn't intended. But moving on. Who do we got? Is it? I guess it's my turn. No.
Yeah. Your second?
No, I already did my second. It's Nightwing. It's Andy's, our special guest co-host. Sorry, guys. All right, here we go. Andy, what do you got? Your third fresh get of the week.
There it is.
So when you talk about bundling things up, I just happened to stumble on a shop that's been ahead of the game and actually sending more and more books to CGC over the last year than any shop I have found locally where I live. And so the old Bundaroo definitely includes another slab. Oh, no. Oh, what is this?
Look at you.
What is this?
Look at you.
I love foils. Oh, bling. Bling. How do you
How dare you show off a comic book that's supposed to be read, kept inside of a plastic case with that foil gimmick cover that's ruining the hobby?
I love foils. I mean,
that
time. How do you not pick this up for $50 less than the eBay going rate? I mean, come on. Like, I got a couple of these in my short boxes. I was thankful. I'm very thankful that I was able to grab a couple on that local comic shop day, but it's pre-graded. It's a pre-guaranteed 9.8. It is here. This is going to the PC. I'm a completionist collector for Something's Killing the Children, and I am happy that I was able to grab this for well under the eBay going rate. And the old Bundaroo comes through, man. Like, seriously, when you've got cash in your hand and you've got a store owner standing there, I'm like, hey, bro, like, if I added another one, what about this? Oh, it's going to work. Oh, by all means. Thanks. Yes, I'll take a bag. Absolutely. Put that right in there.
By the way, you need to give a little context onto your I Love Foil, because that is something that cracks me up. You show it at the end of your show, so please, Austin Powers, please elaborate.
So it all started with the EGCEC release of the Department of Truth variant version or variant of the Peach Momoko #1 for Department of Truth. They did a gold foil variant. And the whole thing is like a negative. The entire cover is like a negative space gold. I love gold. Like, seriously, it's a gold foil cover. It's like buying a comic book that's a brick of gold. I'm like, this is as bougie. This is as bougie as comic book covers get. This is so dope. And it's Department of Truth #1, the Peach Momoko, just with the girl in the very center, and the whole thing is like 24 karat gold. And EGCEC did a fantastic job working with Scott's Collectibles on that variant. I just wish I would have gotten the collector's package that they did. I just bought the one, and then I received it, and I unboxed it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got to make a clip for this. Yeah. I got to make a clip for this. Now, anytime on my show, it's like, I love gold.
Freaking brilliant. It cracks me up. And again, that's just even one reason to go check out Comic Man Andy's channel. You absolutely have to. By the way, Mitch Gurwitz saying hello to Andy. I guess that is a fan, because maybe he likes gold as well. All right, moving on to some figurative gold here. We got another Daredevil cover from Raw Dog Comics.
Ooh,
loving this cover, man. Yep. Loving this cover. I mean, issue 29. Just that costume's badass too. I think Andy, you said this already, but it just works, right? It just works, and I'm excited to actually catch up and read all of these issues. Again, I'm still on the earlier runs. This one, Sicilian Comics, man. You send a lot of heat. You're up there close to Azores Tiger. However, nobody can really reach Azores Tiger. But look at this, guys. We have Thor 137, first appearance of Ulik, published in February of 1967. That is how you submit a fresh from the comic shop with that kind of background, those kind of facts. We really appreciate that. And all you send us in our way, Sicilian, thank you again. This is a wonderful, wonderful book. It looks like it's in great condition too. It really does. So congratulations on that. Here is another one that did not follow direction. But bringing the heat, guys. This was in a DM. This is via DM. Better than stories, but still not great. This is Stephen Maxwell, 49, with Captain Marvel #17, the second print. This is the first Miss Marvel in costume. She hasn't been in story yet. That comes in Marvel .1, #1. But that is a hot book, and it will only rise, especially once we see that first trailer of that Disney Plus series. I'm excited for. I think Chris and I talked about it. Comic Man Andy, not sure what your thoughts are on Kamala Khan, but she's a great character.
I mean, Kamala Khan, there's a lot of heat there, right? The name of the game when it comes to speculation and building your collection is buying early, buying often, and buying low, right?
Yep.
So we're still in that Kamala Khan pre-ramp. But it's starting. Like I'm still getting some of those books, and you're still able to find them for affordable rates, right? Like, no joke. But then some of the big books are getting up there, right? They're getting big.
Yeah. I feel like the train's leaving, and you literally you're barely able to reach that to get on. That train is going to leave soon, because they're wrapped. They wrap shooting, right? They are wrapped. So this series will probably debut in early 2022. We will see. I guarantee you, we're going to see a trailer in July. No doubt.
Now is the time to find those antique markets, those flea markets, all of the shops and all of the places that aren't up to date, that aren't connected with the rest of us, that those shop owners that just like, aren't interested in going through their back issue bin.
Yeah, they're out there, guys. I continue to hear stories of people finding those Marvel Point Ones in dollar boxes, dollar bins, right? It's insane. It's insane to me that just put the work in. I mean, look at the stuff you found today, Comic Man Andy. For goodness sakes. All right, moving on to some more great stuff. This is Tommy Boy Collections. Secret Wars, number 8, 9.6. You can't see it. It's a little cut off there. And Wolverine, number 1, 9.4. Pickup of my grails, he said, that I had when I was a kid. I mean, these are just iconic. The Secret Wars one is on everybody's radar. And, you know, the Wolverine one is too, but I feel like the Wolverine one is rising quickly. So that's another one to the train is about to leave. The train is about to leave the station on that one. I
told everyone over a year ago, I said, you know, looking at this book, you know, because at that point in time, we already had the Fox merger. And I said, Wolverine is going to get hot. You know, you're looking at there's so much talk over 180 right now because people being priced out at 181. And well, 180 is this true first appearance. I said, next up, you know, you got giant size X-Men collectors being priced out of that. Uncanny 94, people being priced out of that. What's next is first solo series, number 1. I called it. I said at the time, a 9.8 was going for about 250. I said, watch, sooner than later, this book is going to hit 500. It was like a month later, that book hit a record sale on eBay for $500. Now the 9.6 has been hitting over $500.
Yeah, no doubt. It's one to find out. I mean, they're out there, but again, they're not ones you're going to run into in a dollar bin book for sure. But that's a great get there, Tommy Boy Collections. All right, we got Vinny Whitlock every week. This is another one that brings the heat as well.
Wow.
The first Silver Age appearance of the Red Skull, Johann Schmidt, Tales of Suspense, 66 from June 1965. Underrated and undervalued in Vinny Whitlock's opinion. That's a great get. Like, Vinny, you bring it as well, too. You're up there with Azores Tiger, too, I really have to say. All right, guys, this is my third fresh get of the week. I'm happy I got this one. A lot of people are, like, freaking out. They're pissed or whatever. It's a bad idea book, right? People are pissed. Who cares? You know, we had Dinesh Shamdasani and Robert Venditti on our show, different shows. Great people, and Chris and I really believe in what they're doing. We'll get to Andy's opinion in a second, but this is Hank Howard, Pizza Detective, number 1. This was the dollar book that they only sold one day. It was one day. I got this in the mail, which is a little confusing because you could pre-order it from online subscribers, but you can only get it in a comic shop one day. But this is an interesting one. I haven't read it yet, but people say that there's a cool character at the end. I can't wait to read it. I'm gonna check it out. But Robert Venditti, fantastic writer, even better human being, and I was happy to get that. Comic Man Andy, what are your thoughts on Bad Idea as a comic book company?
There's no such thing as a bad idea when it comes to Bad Idea Comics, just because it might not be somebody's, you know, repertoire or what they're really into. There's no such thing as a bad comic book. It might end up in a dollar bin and somebody might find it and loving it just the same. It's the spice of life. Variety is the spice of life. Bringing more comic book content into the collective nature of comic books and more great stories is never a bad thing. So I like the fact that Bad Idea is not just inserting themselves into the publishing market with comic books, but they're throwing a spin on it, right? They're creating a little bit of hype. They're creating interest behind their product. That's marketing. That's marketing 101. You know what I mean? If you create a book that is a first print run and then you turn right back around and say, oh, by the way, here's the any print or whatever they call it, that's not bad. I mean, it's more comic books and more content. We're all after more of it, right?
I mean, Chris and I talk about this quite a bit, but they're hitting like 3 parts of the market here. They're hitting the speculators, because if you order in advance, you can get your books, right? It's on you if you don't. They're hitting the collectible market, and then they're hitting readers, because with the readers, you got the not first print that they're going to continue to produce no matter what. With the collectors, you get your first print. With the spec, you know, the people in the spec game, you'll just flip the book as long as you're smart enough to order from a bunch of places, right? So all the complaints about Bad Idea are bad complaints in my opinion, because they're putting out really good material, really high quality books. The covers are just beautiful, gloss and matte combined. It's just Tankers is great. ENIAC has been great. You got a few. You got Sleigh Bells coming out, and I cannot remember the lot. I think it's the lot. It's really good stories, and I think with Dinesh involved, there's gonna be a media option somewhere, whether it be a show or a film. It's gonna happen, no doubt about that. I'm not sure, Andy, if this is one of your friends. I'm a new sub, love the vids, and yes, this is my birth name. I will not make fun of your birth name. It's just Andy comes with the puns. So, also, Chris, you got some props here too. This is awesome. X11 Bravo Comics. I took Chris's top 100 keys list from his videos and sent it to my suppliers as a pull list. That is props, man. So good work on that, Christopher. All right, getting back to your guys' books.
Jeff, I saw what you did there. I know we got to show some more off, but I know that you wanted to save the best for last because you skipped over my third pick. So I appreciate that.
What a terrible.
No, I knew you wanted to save the best for last. So
honestly, guys, I'm going to remove myself. You guys continue on with the
show. I can't control the function, so that's not gonna work.
You need me.
Yeah, but let's go ahead. I just want to make sure we remember. So let's bring up everyone else's fresh gets. But
we'll save the best for last.
It better be good. We're gonna make this fun too, because I'm gonna let Andy. I had so many this week that I have some options here, so I'm gonna let Andy pick. So let's go through the remaining.
Okay.
What's that?
That's fun. We only got two more. I like that idea, though.
Okay, awesome.
We got Waywaz Comics. Wayways Comics. Marvel Tales 128. He says he loves this cover. This is a reprint from that early. Gosh, I can't remember what issue it was, but he's got to save Aunt May, and
that's issue 155. I want to say.
I'm not sure, but Homecoming took from it. That where he's busting out from the building that fell on top of him. And
that one was like issue number.
That was early. That was early
30,
on.
Like 30.
It was in the 30s.
Or something like that,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, I believe those are that's a reprint of that. And then we got Wise Guy Collectibles, our last, but not our last. Chris is our last, but I like this. I actually asked for my LCS to see if they could pull this thing.
That is a reprint of 151. Right.
Are you sure that late in the series? I thought it was a
because no. So 151, that's the reprint, but the one that you're thinking of, I don't have it. I do believe it's 31 because it's 31's first appearance of Gwen Stacy. It was somewhere, maybe it was 33, but they look very similar. 31 is where he's more like on the ground with all in the water with the stuff on top of him. This one, he's more upright with the waterfalls coming down.
Yo, Bloop Comics is like our fact checker.
33. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Bloop Comics. 33 is the one with him raising the debris over him. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. All right, but moving on here, we have Wise Guy Collectibles. Guys, this is one I was going after this past LCS or the New Comic Book Day. My LCS did not have it. This is the Department of Truth. Number 1, the 5th print secret Lee Harvey Oswald cover. So they had a secret 5th print. It wasn't too secret by the time it came out, but this is a reprinting of the actual other secret print with Lee Harvey Oswald. That one was hot. This series is hot. I'm loving this series. Not sure if you guys are reading it. I think it's fantastic. It's a crazy read, especially with the times we're living in right now. But Chris, you're going to close out Fresh from the Comic Shop, and I think you have a fun way of doing so.
All right. I would love to show 3 more off, but then I'm really going to be cheating. Big shout out to A1 Comics since their logo is right there. Okay, so this is what we're going to do, Andy, being our guest co-host of honor here. I'm going to let you pick which book will be my third get. So this is what they are. I'm going to give you, obviously, a little insight on what they are. You tell me which one to pick. So we got some Thor spec. Some future Thor spec. We got some older X-Men goodies, not really spec, but just some older X-Men stuff to carry on the theme of the other X-Men book 107 that I show off, or my Grail run, some classic Amazing Spider-Man.
He's thinking real hard because he's brushing that beard.
So let's go to the all white backer board in what would be on your far left, I think. Yes.
This one?
Yeah.
It's a good call.
Okay,
good call.
So
that's a winner.
He made a random choice there.
By the way, I think he's sending you this book too, Andy. I'm pretty sure he's gonna mail it to you.
All right. You know what? It worked out. Because
all right, I'm bringing it on full screen. Here we go.
Yeah, Jeff and I are big Spider-Man fans, so why not pick a Spider-Man book? I already showed off some X-Men.
By the way, no. Serge Henderson.
Yes.
Calling a warlock.
All right. Since Serge I have to bring this up. What's really, Jeff, you would have killed me. I didn't do it, but I did it in a video. I actually bought another warlock in the Infinity Watch #1.
It's a problem.
But here's the thing. I have like 20 copies, and I didn't have any newsstands. It was a newsstand. So it took me everything in me to not show it off as a fresh get. So I hope you thank me for that later on.
No, the world thanks you.
All right, but now we're going with Amazing Spider-Man #52. This is the third appearance of Kingpin, second appearance of Robbie Robertson. Just another classic Silver Age 12-cent Amazing Spider-Man. It is my Grail run. Another beautiful looking book. It's got a little bit of writing, like a date written up there or something. But other than that, no huge color breaks. I'll tell you, I got this from none other than A1 Comics.
Look at Justin's comment too.
Yeah. Yep. So what it does, the one thing that it does have is it has some color rub through here. Excuse me, if you can see that.
It's not coming through. It doesn't look bad at all, man.
Yeah, you can just see a little bit of you can tell a little bit right there. Yeah. But other than that, no huge color breaks or anything. Decently sharp corners, decent spine. Actually, that spine is pretty nice. So I got, I went to A1 and I got the X-Men. No, that was from the mail. I got another X-Men book and this from A1 for some really good prices. So big shout out to A1. Another run filler in my Amazing Spider-Man run. My Amazing Spider-Man volume one run is so close to being complete. The only thing that I need 120 center, which is 101. Actually, no, I need 100 and 101. First appearance of Morbius is 101. And then everything else, I need a few 15 centers, and then everything else is 12 centers. So wish me luck, because we know that, like those first 12 issues, good luck, right?
Yeah. No, we believe in you. We absolutely believe in you.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Before we end this Fresh from the Comic Shop, Chris is going to explain one more time how you guys enter each and every week. And again, we have 2 strikes out there for 2 people. I'm not going to put them on blast.
Yeah.
You know who you are. Come on, people. Let's do this right. Chris, one more time. Here we go.
All right. So remember, get your smartphones. Go on Instagram. Don't go to your story. Don't send us a private message. You got to take the picture, upload it to your Instagram, and post it to your Instagram page. Leave the hashtag FFTCS and tag us. You're slow on it again. There we go. Tag us at Comic Book Canon so we can see your fresh get. You can submit as many as you want all throughout the week. We will be sure to pick at least one entry, though. So we love, again, every week, we love seeing what you guys bring to the table. It's amazing. I take notes. Like, I'm sitting here taking notes and looking on like eBay as you guys are sending them in. Like, I'm giving my secrets away, man. I'm all in on what you guys send in, and it's so awesome. I think that's one thing that makes the segment extra special too, is that we all learn from each other. We get to see what other people are picking up, and we learn what a first appearance is in this book and that book, or what came out this week. And then we get to, see, oh, well, hey, that makes me interested in that. And then we can either go down to our LCS or get on our phones and research and maybe pick one up for ourselves. So absolutely love it.
Yeah, and then you may get a nice nugget of information about the book you didn't even know, like Andy brought up with the X-Men book. So that's
exactly.
That's a big deal. But right there, all good things must come to an end. And this week's Fresh from the Comic Shop has officially ended. But we'll have another one next week as long as you guys follow instructions. It gets bigger and bigger each week. It's really hard to get it all done by showtime. But again, we are super thrilled and having so much fun with this. We may have some other ideas coming down the pipeline as to what we're going to do with Fresh from the Comic Shop. So stay tuned on that. All right, moving on. This is another great segment. Oh, by the way, I do want to say Tom Tormey will not be here for another Cosmic Minute. Just hit him up on at Cosmic Comic History. Tell him hello. Tell him you miss him. He's just dealing with some family things, but he's okay. But we will move on to the next segment here, and it's one of your favorites. And honestly, Comic Man Andy, I think it's going to be one of your favorites too. But it is the top 10 hottest comics of the week based off of cover prices data. That's right. We are dealing with data here, people. Facts and figures, not speculation. Like, well, I think this one's pretty hot. We're going to put it in the top 10 right now. We take cover prices, top 10 hottest comics of the week, which they share on a Monday. Our live show is on a Friday. We go through the top 10 hottest comics, and Chris normally picks his 3 most interesting picks off of that list. But this week, we are approaching this a little bit different. Picky's out.
Yep.
Picky's out. All right. But right now, I'm just going to read off. Comic Man Andy, if it's cool with you, I'm going to read off what the top 10 hottest comic books are of the week. You ready?
Are you sure you want to share this? Are you sure you want to spread that love?
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm gonna hold off for a second. Think about it. Chris has somewhere to be anyways right now. I'm not gonna say what. I'm not gonna say what. But no, you know what? No, we're just gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Here we go. Top 10 hottest comics of the week. Right now, you got at number 10, Amazing Spider-Man, number 360, the second cameo of Carnage. I'm wondering why Carnage is so hot right now. I have no idea. At number 9, we have Ghost Rider, number 28, the first appearance of the Midnight Suns. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Hopefully, we're going to see some little MCU love with the Midnight Suns coming up. Number 8, we have Venom, Lethal Protector, number 4, the first appearance of Scream, Agony, Lasher, Phage, and Riot. I do believe Riot is confirmed for Venom Let There Be Carnage, the sequel to Venom. Number 7, we have G.I. Joe. Number 281, the first appearance of Sherlock. This is a brand new book, brand new character, and people are excited about her. Number 6, we have Captain America, number 352, the first appearance of the Supreme Soviets. This is based off of David Harbour's comments about the Black Widow film. So this is why this is hot, hot, hot. Number 5, we have America Chavez, Made in the USA. Number 3, the first appearance of Catalina Chavez, America's sister. At number 4, we have Ultraman. Number 1, the first appearance of Ultraman in comics. There is news that there will be an animated series on Netflix. At number 3, we have the Ultraman number 1 Virgin variant. At number 2, we have Spider-Man Unlimited, the first appearance of Shriek. And at number 1, we have Hank Howard, Pizza Detective, Caligula's Cafe, our favorite publisher, Bad Idea. All right, Chris. We got some stuff to talk about. We have some stuff.
Yes.
Normally, it's the 3 most interesting picks off of this list. But we're not going that route this week, are we?
Yeah, no, I really had to address this list differently. Before I get into really what I want to talk about, I got to give love to Bad Idea with the number 1 book on this list. I could use this whole segment to just talk about that book, but I'm not. But look, Bad Idea is doing things, and I'll probably do a video on my channel in the near future just talking about Bad Idea to really dive even further into what they're doing. There's haters out there, there's people that don't understand it, but they are on a roll. Big shout out to Bad Idea. But
I just want to say Planet Arizona was 4 for 10 out of that list. I see that's the best I see out of all of the. You know what? This could be fun if you guys let us know how many you have out of that list.
Yep.
Keep it going. But that's good to know. All right. Chris, what do you got?
All right, guys. So I had to theme this list out. We had really 90s goodness all throughout this list. All right. There was really 7 books. 7 books that were 90s because you had Ultraman, the Harvey comic Ultraman, which had a high raw of $60 for a 90s book. And I'm going to talk about the 5 other ones that are all Marvel, all right? Because I want to really focus on the fact that it is a myth to sit here and say 90s comics aren't valuable. So let's get into the other 5. We had Ultraman, $60 high value. Let's get into the 5 Marvel books, all right? Amazing Spider-Man 360, second cameo of Carnage, right? This came out in 1992. High sale CGC, 9.8, $400. $400, 1992. All right, next up.
Hold on.
Yes.
I want Comic Man Andy's thoughts on this. Andy, what are you thinking about these 90s books?
I feel like I've got a few short boxes over here that have been collecting dust because 360 is a great pick, along with when's 344 going to show up on there too?
Mm-hmm. That's first. What's his face? Cletus, yeah, with Cardiac on the cover. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Chris. Moving on though.
All right. So, Ghost Rider 28, first appearance of Midnight Suns, 1992. Obviously, I call them baseless rumors that Marvel is in development of a Midnight Suns film. There's nothing there yet, but hey, people like to guess. CGC 9.8, $150. Again, another 1992 book. Next up, Captain America 352. This is a 1989 book, but look, close enough, right? I'm going to put it in the same category. This is the first appearance of Supreme Soviets in Sputnik. David Arbor, who's starring in the Black Widow film, tweeted mentioning Sputnik being in the film last week. So this got some hype around this. $50 high raw sale, $50. All right. Next up, Venom, Lethal Protector, number 4, first appearance of Scream, Agony, Lasher, Phage, Riot. This book came out in 1993. A high sale, CGC 9.8, $250. That's right. And then the big cookie. I should have shown mine off. I got one signed by Ron Lynn. Spider-Man Unlimited number 1, the first appearance of Shriek. This book came out in 1993. High sale, CGC 9.8, $450.
Ooh.
Get this. A high 9.8 CGC in February, $110. That's 4 times the value that it was worth in February.
And be on the lookout for those newsstand variants of this too.
Yep. So, okay, so let's talk about these books. What do all these books have in common, including Ultraman? Well, there's speculation and rumor around them surrounding film, live action properties, and so forth. You got a lot of these books, obviously Amazing Spider-Man 360, Venom, Lethal Protector, and Spider-Man Unlimited, all because of the Venom film coming out, Venom 2. And then, the Midnight Suns, there's rumor, about them possibly showing up. And then, you get a tweet from an actor in a film that says, oh, this character is going to show up. You get Captain America 352 blown up. Now, people may sit here and argue, oh, well, they're just, that's all it is anymore. It's people that don't even read comics. They just, linger on these announcements for movies, and then they just want to go buy them and flip them, and they don't even care about it. It's all movie spec. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. First off, you're wrong. People that enjoy the movies still read comics, many of them. Can't speak for all of them. But the bottom line is it doesn't matter. These books are being driven up in value organically by basic supply and demand. And yes, supply obviously it correlates directly with demand. And you would think that these books in the 90s, because of how they were printed, there's this excess supply of them out there. But I've said it before. I said it in this segment many times. I'm going to say it again. Supply does not equate to print run. Supply specifically equates to the available amount of the product on the market at any given time. And right now, what's happening is people are hearing about these books, hearing about these characters, looking for the books, and the demand is exceeding supply, and the supply just cannot keep up. It can't. So these books then gain value. Now, you ask, what does that mean long term? What does that mean long term? Well, people see them getting hot. So you might have somebody like Andy who said, oh, I got a bunch of those back there collecting dust, right? So maybe somebody in that same situation would say, oh, these books are getting hot. I'm going to go sell mine then, right? So if you get enough of these people, because there are a lot out there still, maybe a lot of these people might put them on the market and supply starts increasing. Demand might not increase. Maybe demand starts going down. And then what's going to happen? The books are going to cool off. Can this happen? Well, there's ebb and flow almost with any kind of comic book that's on a market, any kind of collectible, any kind of investment that's on a market. You're always going to see supply and demand fluctuate. All right. The bottom line, though, that's proving my point here is that regardless of the fact, comic books have value no matter what era. And the farther we get away from the 90s, the older these books are going to become, the more people are going to be holding on to these books in their personal collections. Mm-hmm. Just like right now, you have an era of folks that held on to their Silver Age books that are unfortunately passing away or whatnot, and you're finding more and more Silver Age books in estate sales and in collections and whatnot because they're passing away and they held on to them. So going over for the next 30 years, you're going to have more and more people that are going to be holding on to 90s books, and we're not dying off anytime soon. We're not. I'm sorry. What?
Don't apologize. Please don't apologize.
We're even. I'm hoping that even, folks pushing 60 and whatnot still have some good, a couple decades left here on Earth. Bless them in long life. But look, the mid-range or the main age group of those people that are collecting comics, especially comics from the 80s and 90s, are going to be between 30 and 50 years old. And I see it more than ever. Look, I have thousands of subscribers. I get thousands of comments on my video, and I read each and every one of them. I have my ear to the streets all the time. I'm in Facebook forums. I'm reading forums. I'm monitoring the hobby and the community. More and more people, young and old, but especially middle-aged, 30 to 50, are coming back into this hobby and say, hey, man, you know what? I've been out of the hobby for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and this is my first time getting back into it. What should I buy? Oh, 90s nostalgia. Let me buy that. Oh, wow. That book's worth something right now. I can send this to CGC and get a 9.8. Okay. Gambit's a thing. I'm going to send this to CGC and it's going to be worth like $350. Okay. How about it? I'm telling you guys, 90s books right now, there's going to be ebb and flow with anything that has speculation. So let's look at some of these books that correlate with the Venom movie. The Venom movie is going to come out. I hope it's a success. It's going to be released, then it's going to be out of theaters. And maybe those books trend downward a little bit because the interest, subsides. But what do I talk about? Threshold. They're not going to be what they were worth before. They're going to hit a threshold. All right. And then through time, slowly but surely, long term, they're going to continue to slowly increase value, because I guarantee you this. I'm going to sum up my statement here. Regardless or contrary to popular belief, nobody collects comics anymore. It's only speculators, or people don't read comics and all this stuff. Speculators are driving up the market. More and more people are holding on to their books. It's that simple. More and more people are holding on to their books, and they're doing it with 90s books as well. And I tell you, when a book does get hot, it's not speculators that are out there buying them at peak prices. It's collectors that are demanding them. And collectors don't necessarily flip for the short term. At least the majority of them. They hold their books. So I would like to finish my rant here by saying this. Look for these books as a whole, late 80s, early 90s books, to continue to gain attention, to continue to increase in demand, and to continue to increase in value. And I'm not sitting here trying to feed you lies and feed you a pipe dream of thinking that every book that came out, around that time is going to be valuable. Because, guys, it's not the case. It's not the case. But there is a market there, and that market is not going away anytime soon.
I gotta add to this. Chris,
we expect you to add to this. That's what I'm saying. I just want to preface that. We expect you. Go ahead.
Yes, you're really firing me up, and I really gotta add to this, man. I want to take and ask each and every one of the people watching right now to think about this. That one book that you're after, those 2 books that you're after, and you're looking for that ebb and you're looking for that flow. It's gonna be there. It's gonna be there. But I want you to stop, and I want you to think big picture. Generationally, comic books have the exact same ebb and flow. Silver Age, Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age, Copper. You look for those ebbs and flows in those single and double issue books, the stuff that you're looking to collect as a collector. And when you want to use speculation to build your collection, generationally, there is an ebb and flow, just like Chris talks about. There's a generational ebb and flow. Use that to build your comic book collection as efficiently as possible as a speculator. You can use comic book speculation to build your collection. You don't have to flip books. You don't have to be a speculator and flip books. You can buy and you can hold, and you can use speculation in that aspect and that value. You're right, Chris. The ebb and that flow of that book, that will be there. The very, very, very few books are outliers of that ebb and flow. Most books have that ebb and flow. Almost all of them do. Very, very few don't. But you can use that ebb and flow in the bigger picture of things and look at those generational aspects. Less than 3 years ago, people were buying up 80s and 90s books and being told, well, that's not a smart move. And it's like, I'm buying what I love so that I'll love what I'll buy. And I bought up all those 90s X-Men keys of minor characters, Bishop, you name it. Then
Omega
Red, they're starting to catch traction. I use speculation in the tools that everybody talks about to build my collection. And there are generational ebbs and flows. This isn't a phenomenon. This is economics. I mean, this is how it works. I mean, the vernacular escapes me, but Chris has really got me fired up because this is how I've been operating as a collector for quite a long while now.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Jeff, you want to?
Yeah, again, if you are looking to build up your collection, you should approach it as a strategy, just like Andy was saying, ebbs and flows. And the time to buy an Omega Red X-Men #4 was not now, where it's going, that's a hot book. It was when, you wanted that back in the day in your collection, and you could easily find those in dollar bin books. So again, there's never the perfect moment to kind of go after the book you want to go after. But if you do study the market, if you do study how these things work, if you do study the outside factors that manipulates the wrong term, but that affect the market and the cost of these books, that's speculation. And that's playing the market as well. Speculation isn't always about flipping books. Speculation is figuring out the right time to get that. Captain Marvel, for example, Chris, that's one of your fresh gets right there. Now's the time to buy Captain Marvel if you want that in your collection. It's not going to be, a year down the road where you're already seeing images from the Marvels, the next Captain Marvel film. So it's knowing how to approach these collections and how to approach go after the ones you want and when the time is right. So, nothing is. It's amazing to see that these 90s books are kind of going the way that they are. And I just saw a message here. I just saw a comment here from bottom tier collectors. Death of Superman and Batman 497 will never be worth $100. We don't know. We don't know. If you would have asked, me 3 years ago if any of the top the first 10 issues of Jim Lee's X-Men run would be worth something, I would say no. But even the number ones are going for something right now.
Yeah. So Jim Lee's X-Men #1, the highest printed book ever. A 9.8 CGC in that book is already going for over $100. So there you go. And maybe you're not a believer of CGC. That doesn't count. They're just paying for plastic. Whatever the case may be, that's the market. It's the market. Never say never. I think who said that? Who made that comment?
That is the bearded one's new alias. Bottom tier collector.
Oh, that's the bearded one? Oh, yeah. Bearded one.
All right,
more beards in the house. Okay, bottom tier, bearded one. I think, if I not to put words in his mouth, but I think I can take his sentiment and kind of speak to it and say, well, Superman 75 is never going to be even an ASM 300, let alone a Hulk 181 or an Amazing Spider-Man #1, right? We could say that. It's never going to be something like that. But you can't, never say never. You never know how the demand for these books. And yes, print run is a factor. You have to look at print run. And we know that Death of Superman 75 was another one of those high, in the millions print run. So it's a factor. But still, we could be sitting here 50 years from now and something happens where the demand for that book is just like everyone wants it, right? And then who knows what happens in 50 years? Maybe Superman becomes, Warner Brothers totally screws the DC so bad, and everyone hates Superman. Superman's whack. Miles Morales, punchline, new characters. We're old, we're in our 80s, and we're like, oh, those new young kids and those new characters. And, all the kids these days are grown-ups and they got good jobs. They're making money and they're spending bank on comic books, and they don't give a damn about comic books. So when we died and gave them our collection and we gave them our 10, 20 copies of Superman 75, they were like, I don't give a damn about this. And they threw it away. You never know. And then maybe a couple decades after that, something happens and Superman's popular again. And then that next generation, Superman died like 60 years ago. He died in a comic book. I want that one. And then the demand starts increasing. Who knows where the copies are? Bottom line is you never know. But perspective is perspective. When I told people, 4 years ago now, when I brought up the fair market value of an ASM 300 and a Spider-Man #1, not Volume 2 from 98 or Volume 3 from 2012 or Volume 4 from 2004. No, Spider-Man #1 from 1963. Did it come out in 62? I know Amazing Fantasy was 62. When I told you that an Amazing Spider-Man 300 was a better investment than Spider-Man #1, dude, I had so many people laughing at me, calling me names. I remember good old friend of the channel. What's his name? Down in Hawaii, the Doom 143. Big shout out to Doom 143. He even came in my comments. He was like, "Yo, love you, man, but you're crazy." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not."
You did the math. I mean,
I did the math. I did the math. Even then, because this is what I said. I said, look, we get so fixated on dollar amount. We can't be fixated on a dollar amount. We have to understand percentages. When you talk about a return on your investment, you have to understand percentages. So even 4 years ago, right, when an Amazing Spider-Man 9.8 CGC was probably going for $200, your Amazing Spider-Man #1 in like a, like a 7.5 or something like that was going for like, what did I say? I think I forget off the top of my head, but I don't know. It might have been like 20,000 or something like that. It was a lot of money. So the first thing that you got to understand is, if we're looking at investments, how many people have 10, 15, 20, $30,000 in their pocket all at once? Probably not a lot of us. Maybe we can go to the bank, get out a loan. Maybe we can sell a car, or I don't know. I know I don't. So, but if you have $200 for an Amazing Spider-Man 300, maybe you have more than 200. Maybe you have 2,000. Maybe you could buy 10 copies of Amazing Spider-Man 300. But I said, let's just hypothetically imagine that we had the amount of money for fair market value for you to buy that Amazing Spider-Man #1. Would you buy that book, or would you buy, what was it, like 320 copies or 420 copies of Amazing Spider-Man 300? Everyone was like, you're crazy. I'm not buying 400 copies of Amazing Spider-Man 300. Hell no. Da-da-da-da-da. So what did I do? I came back in 2020 before COVID hit. And Jeff, we did it on our show. I think it was right when COVID hit. We came on the show. And I think the fair market value of that book was not even half of what it's at right now. Amazing Spider-Man 300.
Yeah.
And what was the profit margin? If you invested in 2017, if you invested your X amount of money into one Amazing Spider-Man #1 or 400 copies of Amazing Spider-Man 300, your profit margin differential, I think you would have only gained like 8,000 in profit off of the Amazing Spider-Man #1, but I think it was like 80,000 in profit off of the Amazing Spider-Man 300s. And if we did it now, no lie, 420 copies of your profit margin might be bigger than 6 figures. You might be looking at $1 million profit margin. And I'm just shooting that from my head. I mean, it's increased that much. Think about it. If you spent $200 times 400, that's what, 80,000, right? What's the 9.8 going for right now? 5 G's?
5 or 6?
Yeah. Times that by 5,000 times 400 is add up the zeros. 5,000 books.
I can't do math on a Friday.
$5,000 fair market value at 400 books. That's $2 million.
We're saying, let's just say 5,000 times 400. Yeah, that's $2 million.
$2 million.
Done.
And don't tell me, I don't want to hear those people saying, how are you gonna sell 400 copies of Mace? Don't tell me, because if a 9.8 ASM 300 is going on eBay or going in a claim sale, it's sold.
Gone.
Now I want to hear it.
So there's two things to bring up about this. There's 2 caveats to think about this as collectors when we talk about this discussion. Is we as collectors need to take our quote unquote thoughts or ideas about the phrase print run, and we need to throw that right out into the garbage, because all of these books that for the last 20 years people have been talking about the print run being an issue, it's not really as much of an issue when you talk about the 9.8s, 9.6s, 9.4s. When you look for high grade books, you could have 2 million of a book printed. Good luck finding newsstand copies in 9.8 for some of these books, or direct editions, whatever your flavor is. And then the second caveat to this is, at the end of the day, and I've seen some comments about this in the chat here tonight, is buy what you love at the end of the day, and you'll love what you buy wholeheartedly, nonstop. Doesn't matter if it's $1 book and still $1 book at the end, or if the things pay off. If you forever stay true to yourself and you always buy what you love, you'll never go wrong, ever. Not one time, ever.
Yep. That's fact right there. We say that a lot. And, Chris, you've talked about this to no end. Print run does not equal supply. It also doesn't equal demand. So all well said here. By the way, we just have to have a nice bookend. That is the top 10 hottest comics of the week. That is well played right there by everybody. Right now, this chat is booming right now. We want to answer some questions. I think Serge said he had a question he wanted to ask, but I'm not sure if he asked. But Mitch Gerwitz, I buy a ton of Aftershock comics. The Ambassador variants are only about 300 print run or so. I mean, those Aftershock comics are really good, especially Shadow Doctor. I'm really enjoying that. But, again, if that becomes a movie, which it very well should, and if they're, people are going to be after those variants, so. By the way, Dan De La Torre, we think very highly of him, and he thinks very highly of you. So, Comic Man Andy, you have another fan. Only good things happen when you become a guest co-host on Comic Book Canon. I have to say, I think Justin actually got a brand new car for being on Comic Book Canon out of nowhere, out of the kindness of somebody's heart, out of an audience.
What does he win? A brand new car.
It's a fact. Justin, please let us know. No good comments. Please let us know the story behind that.
It was a Matchbox.
Yeah, it's probably. But anyways, but again, if you guys are not following Comic Man Andy, that is his Instagram right there, and there is a link in the bottom of the description where it says Comic Man Andy. YouTube, sub him up. You have no excuse. You have no excuse. But yeah, this has been fantastic. You have brought so much to this show, Comic Man Andy. We are very appreciative that you've been here. I'm trying to stretch a little bit to see if we get any more questions because it's been an amazing show, and I feel like everybody's still got this energy. We still have a ton of people here watching, so why not throw a question our way?
Well, you know what, man? Just earlier, my wife snuck down the stairs because we're running a little bit late tonight, and she had this weird look on her face, and she looks at me. She's like, she told me to stop acting like a flamingo, and I looked at her. I was like, "What?" So I had to put my foot down.
Ah, no, no, that's a retread, dude. You said that in another show. Definitely said that. I did my research on you this week. Oh man. Here we go. Comic Toby 420. Who's the boss? I'm not sure if he's setting us up here, but Peter Thornton says this guy. That was literally consecutive. I don't know if they were working off each other.
Right.
Como Comics. Yeah, dad jokes indeed. It is you missed a few of those, by the way, Como. True. And bottom tier collector, aka the bearded one. He loves dad jokes because he's a dad. I'm a dad. The three of us are all dads. I think it works perfectly well. Anyways, I think we're going to wrap things up. The show has been outstanding. We really appreciate you coming on the show. You know, since this is your episode, do you have any kind of like parting words you want to leave? Oh, time out. We got some stuff to talk about with your channel. You're approaching 1,000 subs. You're going to have a contest there. So just talk to us about this.
I'm really looking forward to this, right? So it's kind of getting there. We're going to do the journey to 1,000 subscribers, and we're going to do, I am dubbing this, I am trademarking this. We're going to do the Slabaganza giveaway. Say it with me. Slabaganza giveaway.
Love it.
Slabaganza giveaway.
Trademark.
This journey to 1,000 subscribers has been epic, and it's been fun, and I've met so many cool people and made so many great friends, and I've learned so much from this community that there needs to be something epic as far as giving back. So it's going to be the Slabaganza giveaway, and I've already got a stack of 4 or 5 slabs to give away, and let me tell you what, I've found places to buy slabs on the cheap to continue to add to that stack, and it's going to be one of those, I drop a video, here's where you leave the comment to be entered. Get ready for the live stream where we do the actual giveaway situations. That's going to be coming up here soon within the next few weeks, hopefully, if I can get my stuff in gear, because I've been busy. Alex the Comic Hoarder in the YouTube community has resurrected the top 50 comics of your collection hashtag, and it's taken me seriously about 2 weeks to figure out how I'm going to land this out here. Ooh, don't peek.
I was trying.
But like top 50, I really want to do a top 50 video, and I want to record it with the DSLR so it looks nice and pretty, and I'm having fun because that's a challenge all in its own. But yeah, what else? We got the Monday mail call that I do every week. We've got the Wednesday New Comic Book Day. There is a ton of great Wednesday New Comic Book Day content out there, either a week in advance or the day before or the day of. But because everybody, variety is the spice of life, everybody's slightly different, right? We all have different kind of pull lists and different kind of reading stuff. I'm kind of indie heavy, so there's a lot of indie stuff that I do on my channel, but I still look at the big two as well. So I do that show, and really it's just about my channel will always and forever be my doorway into this amazing community. And this amazing community I've learned so much from. So I'm going to continue hanging out and doing cool stuff because this connective tissue that is comic books is fantastic, right? It really is a connective tissue. But the most fantastic part all day, every day, is each and every person here watching the content that's being created and the content creators that are making the content. Because it's a one big, giant, awesome circle. And you can't lose. Parker can't lose. You can't lose with all of this amazing content and all of this great energy going around and all these great vibes. Good vibes are everywhere to be had. All you got to do is click play.
Oh, man.
I love it, man.
Can't say better than that, especially with the Parker Lewis can't lose reference. Jesus, that's so 90s.
Hey, we were talking before the show too a little bit, and to tell the chat, man, and to reiterate, guys, and I'm going to trademark this term, TubeCon. TubeCon. We're going to have TubeCon when the world gets back together, man. TubeCon, where all of the creators and all of you amazing viewers and everyone in this community, we're going to blow San Diego Comic-Con out of the water when we can get back to some real live interactions. It's going to be massive. We're going to have content creators. We're going to have artists. We're going to have friends of the channels. We're going to have friggin' everybody from all over the States and Canada. And I don't know where it's going to be yet. It might be out on the moon if that's our only option. But we're going to do a TubeCon and we're going to party all day and all night.
That sounds great. You heard it here first. Chris said it's going to be bigger than San Diego Comic-Con, which brings in well over a few 100,000 people that whole weekend. So I'm pretty sure we're going to make that happen on our first go-get, right? No doubt about that. We got 3 right here that'll definitely show up.
All right.
3 right here. All right, guys. Obviously, this has been an outstanding show. Once again, follow Comic Andy. His Instagram is right there. Also, please sub him up. He's on his way to 1,000 subs, and as he said, there's going to be Slabaganza. It's going to be freaking awesome. And again, can't thank you guys enough. We can't thank you guys, the audience, enough for joining us each and every week. These shows are so much fun. It's been a blast, especially this year, Chris, when we have this new format of bringing all these wonderful people in, hanging out with us, talking about the hobby that we all love. So for me, I'm just going to say I can't wait till next week. We're going to have another – wait, what is next? No, we don't have a guest next week. We do not. It's a special time between Chris and I. We may have a pretty cool announcement.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
May have a cool announcement. We're not sure yet. Paperwork isn't in. But you know, for myself, again, I look forward to these Fridays each and every week, and you guys make it that way. Chris, your final words and thoughts for this show.
TubeCon.
All right, I guess it's happening, guys. Once again, thank you all so much. You guys have a great week. We will see you next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific. Comic Book Canon. Don't forget your fresh gats and the rules. We love you. Have a great rest of have a great week.